Okay, we got Jacob in the front. Twice. Can we close that door, please? Sorry, Judge. We're live. Thank you. Heavy show out on the pretrial document. Mr. Gray, I think, is here. Any thoughts on Carl Stevens, who that might be? Okay, I'll check in. So, okay, here comes everybody. So, good morning, everyone. I'm Judge Person, and if you'll just bear with the system, it'll slowly, audio will connect, but I'll keep folks muted until it's their turn and everyone will have an opportunity to be heard. This is the Temple Municipal Court, and the cases that are filed here are Class C offenses. I'm going to repeat myself just a little because I see a few people have maybe a slow connection, audio is not connected. But anyway, this is the Temple Municipal Court. I'm Judge Person. I welcome everybody to court. I do announcements at the beginning, which means that I'm just going to kind of get everybody onto the same page, and then we'll take the docket. Now, we do have folks here who are on the pretrial docket, and I'll explain more about the processes being a little bit different there in a moment. And then we have just a regular general docket, folks that I'm visiting with directly. So I just want to kind of get everybody up to speed. And I do need to find out, there are a few people I couldn't identify, a couple of phone callers. So a 254 area code ending in 423. And I'm sending an unmute request to that particular person. And if you could unmute, if you're that telephone number, could you unmute and tell me your name?
Yes. Alexis Vargas.
Thank you, Ms. Vargas. I've got you checked in now.
Thank you.
Just one thing that's happened, I've noticed on the phone, is that they are, you can kind of tend to lose track of it a little. So just listen for your name. Now that I have it, I'll call it out when it's your turn. And that way, you won't miss your turn. But I'll say your name a few times, but just keep an ear out because I'm going to remute you. And I'll be back with you shortly. What you don't see is that I have about 18 people to talk to, and you're in that queue with other folks, okay?
Okay.
Thank you. There's also another telephone number, and it's a local 254 number, but the last several numbers, 227. And again, I'm just hitting that particular person with an unmute request. If you're able to unmute and just let me know who you are. It helps because I want to make sure that if I need to look for a file, I can find it. So I'll keep trying, but I'm going to move on for now. That case, okay. Unfortunately, Mr. Carl Stevens, can you hear If you can hear Mr. Stevens, can you put a thumbs up? Carl Stevens, I don't think the audio is connected and I've sent a message. But the case was dismissed, so I'm trying to, okay, Mr. Stevens, can you hear me? Or see the message? Okay. Can we email? Okay, we'll email him his dismissal. So, okay, so I do want to let you know a few things before we get started. When you're given a ticket or issued a citation, those are all methods under the law for accusing someone. That's what a ticket is. It's an accusation. When you give a plea, you're giving an answer or response to the accusation. In Texas courts and traffic court, there are 3 pleading options: not guilty, guilty, and no contest. Guilty means I did this. No contest is I'm not contesting it. I'm not admitting or denying it. And if you plead not guilty, you're just moving that case toward trial. You're maintaining the innocence that the law presumes, but you're also ultimately requesting a trial because the state will be required to prove that case. So you're just saying they need to meet their burden of proof. And everyone has the right to do that. I will have folks on this docket today on the pretrial docket. They've pleaded not guilty. They've moved that case over to that pretrial docket. And we do that in a breakout room. If the case is unresolved today, we'll have another meeting here in the court to schedule trial, put a scheduling order in place. So there is an in-person meeting. If it's negotiated today, you could do that. You don't have to. The state is represented here by the city attorney. That city attorney basically operates in the same manner as a district attorney. Our city attorney for Temple is Ryan Matson. Mr. Matson, could you just unmute and give a wave, let people know who you are?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Ryan Matson. I'm the prosecutor for Temple.
Thank you, Mr. Matson. So that attorney does not represent you. He actually represents the party that filed the charge. So if you're meeting with him, just be aware that he's not your representative. He's representing really the other side. And you just need to know that just in terms of how you talk to that person. You're not required to discuss facts, etc. If you want to talk about a plea bargain, you can. What I'm asking both parties is just to look at the case, see if we need a trial, see if there is negotiation that you think you can do. And if not, that's fine. We'll just move forward to the in-court docket. But if you're meeting on that docket, what will happen is that I'll put you in that breakout room with Mr. Matson because I'm not part of that conversation. And we'll all come back in here at the end of that meeting. Okay. If you've pleaded guilty or no contest, and I have not yet accepted your plea, there are options still for gaining a dismissal. Now, one thing to be aware of is, in Texas, under Texas law, Chapter 45, if you wind up, if you just pay the ticket or you send in a check, that's a plea of no contest. So just be aware of that. The other thing is that we have payment plans available. I also can look at income debt, ratios and make adjustments if needed. So I do ask for income information. I ask for that income information in connection with 2 functions that I have as a judge. One would be if I'm sentencing. The other would be if I'm scheduling a bond to secure trial. And so I do that for everyone because even if you might ultimately be found not guilty, the court sets a bond. And so I do that when we start looking at trial processes on the pretrial docket. If you're on the guilty or no contest docket, I'm looking at it in connection with sentencing. Now, if you plead guilty or no contest, the general rule in Texas is you're found guilty of the offense. If you pay, you're entering a no contest plea. But if there are still 4 ways to gain a dismissal. Let me just tell you briefly what they are and what you are expected to do and what I'm expected to do. So things that can be dismissed for compliance, the law has to specify that the case can be dismissed for compliance. An example would be like a defective piece of equipment, bald tires, a headlight that's out. You're cited for that offense. You come to court, you prove that you did what's needed to be done in order to gain a dismissal. And then, you pay a $10 dismissal fee, the case gets dismissed. You have to be on time to court. So that's an issue there. The second thing is that if you qualify to be in the driver safety course program, with the driving safety course program, you pay the court costs. The fine will go on hold. If you complete your course and your driving record, your case gets dismissed. One thing to note there is you've got to qualify to be in the program. You do save money if you complete the program and you get a dismissal. You do have to pay court costs. I will need to review when that can happen. I'll be looking to see if you might be qualified, and then I'll start checking in to see if you're qualified. If you are, I'll move you over to that if that's what you want to be doing. Okay, nobody's going to force you to do that. It's just, people might want to know about that. The third thing is if you want to do a deferred disposition. With a deferred disposition, the way that works is you must request it at the time that you enter your plea. So entering a plea of guilty or no contest and requesting a deferred, that would look like guilty or no contest, I'd like a deferred. It's on the paperwork that you may have filled out. It's on the website as well. Sometimes people knew what that meant. Sometimes they don't. I'm going to check in about it to see if you haven't checked it. I want you to speak up before we move forward, because that one is a little different. I don't walk you through it. You're supposed to ask for that when the plea is entered. Okay. So that's the third one. And then the fourth one is if you plead guilty or no contest and you qualify for teen court. And I'll be talking to you about what teen court would look like in your case if it looks like you might be qualified for that program. It is a dismissal option. It's a little like deferred in that there are things for you to do to gain the dismissal. You do save money and you keep the offense off your record. So those are the 4 ways to gain a dismissal, even where you've pled guilty or no contest. Okay. And I'll be checking in with you about those options. Just remember that on the deferred option, you're making the request. I'm not making the request for you. Okay. On the other 3, I'm probably pushing a little bit and looking. Okay. So ask questions when it's your turn. If you think I'm overlooking something, there's a respectful way to talk about that. So bring it up. Don't get off the call without asking questions. And if it's a question that I can't answer because it's legal advice, I can't give legal advice. Mr. Mattson, also the attorney for the city, he is not allowed to give legal advice. I can't give legal advice. I can tell you how things move through a court, but I can't apply it to your case and tell you what you should do. That is for you to decide. If you need to meet with an attorney before your plea is accepted, let me know. Say, wait, Judge, halt, I need to meet with an attorney. If your plea has already been accepted by the court and we're working out the sentence, you've waived that option. And I'll be talking to you about what options you might still have. So just speak up, remember, and there is a way to respectfully do that, and everybody will have a turn. Okay. So I think we're all on the same page. Mr. Mattson, I'm going to begin your case. Jacob Whitaker was on the call. I've had a few. There he is. Okay, Mr. Whitaker, can you hear me? Well, I want to make sure I can hear you. Okay, great. I can hear you too. All right, great. So I'm going to move you over to that meeting, and then Mr. Mattson will join you in that meeting. After that meeting, you will both return to this meeting before you go. Okay, I had a few people go away. I don't know if they'll come back or not. Let's see. Trey Gray, are you here? I think he left. I'll just pull that one off for right now. Cameron Clayton, good morning. Can you unmute and tell me how you're doing?
I'm good. How you doing, miss?
Thank you for asking. I'm fine. Give me 1 second to catch up with you on your
Yes.
file. You're on time for court, which is really a good place to start. The charge allegation is speeding in a school zone 28, going 28 and a 20.
Yes.
The allegation date is for January 23rd, and the fines and costs are $259. You're a senior, junior? What year are you in?
Senior, yes, ma'am.
Okay. With teen court, it's a school zone. And so normally I would be looking at the teen court process. And with that process, you do come to court to the court over we hold that court at the high school. We're authorized to do it at the high school. So we
Yes,
hold, right. So we hold that court at the high school. And that really turns into what is called a sentencing hearing. And really at that point, that jury will be a jury of peers, in other words, young people such as yourself. And they will be asking or answering the question, what you're going to need to do to gain a dismissal. They'll have a range to go from so that it's not outlandish,
Yeah.
but it'll just be based on the facts on you, how you, present your case. You'll have a representative group of young people who have been trained to do teen court advocacy work, and there'll be a prosecutor
Yes, ma'am.
group as well. To get into that program, there's two things that we need to do. We need you to come by and sign today and just have a quick interview, about 15 minutes. And there's a $20 cash fee that we normally try to collect today as well.
Yes, ma'am.
Can you pay the $20 fee today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
What time would I have to come in?
Right. So that's actually my question. When are you available? We do close at 5 and we would want you here really closer to 4.
Well, I'm at school, but I get out at 3:30 because this is the alternative school.
Okay. Can you be here by about 3:45 to 4?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Don't speed, but we'll see you then. And you're just going to come in and ask for the case manager, juvenile case manager. I know you're not a juvenile, but sorry.
And what is the address to where I'm supposed to go?
Oh, hang on just a moment. I'm being told they're not available.
Oh, yes, ma'am.
Oh, we're interviewing for how long?
Yes.
Can you come at 4:30?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Here, let me put a reminder in my phone real quick so I don't forget.
So the other question, Mr. Clayton, is your license expired?
No, ma'am. I think I gave him, because I didn't have my ID on me, but I gave him a copy of my learner's permit that I had.
Okay, bring your regular license.
Yes, ma'am. I have it right here if you wanted to see it.
No, I don't want to try to do that on the screen. Why don't you bring it in and let us have the right one? Because
Yes, ma'am.
January 13th, 2023 was the expiration date that we have.
Yes, ma'am.
Is it?
Oh, no, this one has the same exact expiration date. I think my license is expired.
Yeah. Okay, we'll want to okay, so part of this is we'll want you to get that up to date so that you're not getting tickets.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just going to make a note. I don't think they cited you, even though it probably just had happened. Okay. All right. We'll see you at 4:30. Okay.
All right. Do I stay in the Zoom call?
No, you don't need to.
All right. You have a blessed day, miss.
You too, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Mr. Matson, let me get your other person back over. Just waiting for the technology to kick in. There we go. We'll let that connect. There we go. Hi, Mr. Whitaker. Okay. If I could kind of hear from y'all where we are with this matter, I have two things and they just have to do with parking parking on an unimproved surface, one from December 30th, one from January 17th.
That is correct, Your Honor. We will be continuing to final pretrial on those.
Okay, we're scheduled for April 5th at 1:00. And Mr. Whitaker, we'll meet here that day. Expect to be here for an hour. It may not be that long. It's not the trial. It's actually, a pre-trial conference setting. And, I'll be looking at bond information at that time. Okay. Okay. We'll see you then. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
You have a good day.
You too.
Mr. Matson, I'm moving you forward with memory Wells. Ms. Wells,
Yes, ma'am.
let me move you over to that meeting, Mr. Matson. Okay. Okay, Mr. Whitaker moved off, Ms. Wells being moved over. Since they hung up at the same time, it's just taking a minute for everything to catch up. And would like to talk to Riley Miller. Good morning, Riley Miller. How are you today?
I'm doing good, ma'am. How are you?
Good. Hey, I have a question. I looked at this one with the clerk and they were pointing out to me, this is one of those things that can be dismissed. It's a compliance dismissal case. We would normally, isn't there a $10 fee? There's a $10 fee. Are you in high school?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Could you pay the $10 fee today?
Yes, ma'am.
Can you swing by the court to do that?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. What time can you be here?
Anytime, half hour.
Are you homeschooling or whatever? Or you're at the school?
I'm just at home right now.
Okay. Why don't you just head on over before you go back to school and you can get a note for school too.
Okay.
Can you be here by 10?
Yes, ma'am. Will I need the car for?
No, we have what we need. We just need
Okay.
the fee to be paid. I think that the person that talked to you got their mind onto teen court as an option. Teen court would be an option if it wasn't eligible for something a little easier. This
Okay.
one's a little bit easier, so we always hit the easy button where we can.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
And so I'm going to hit the easy button with you and just have you come by and pay that one fee, and then you're done.
Alrighty. Thank you.
Okay, we'll see you around 10. Okay.
Alrighty. Thank you. You have a good day.
Yes, you can get a copy of the dismissal when you're here.
Okay.
Okay, thank
Thank
you.
you.
You're good to go. Okay, I'm moving along pretty quickly. If I could talk to Lonnie Selman, that would be great. How are you, Mr. Selman? Can you unmute and tell me how you're doing?
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir, I sure can. Thank you for your
Okay,
patience.
thank you. Oh, I'm great. How are you, ma'am?
Yeah, I'm good. Let me just give you kind of a recap of where I am, and then I'll take your questions.
Yes, ma'am.
The accusation is an expired placard. The fines and costs just are $519. Those are mandated by law. And the accusation date is December 24th, 2022. I did receive your note. I did read it. There was a no contest plea. There was a request to work with you on it, and I certainly will to the best of my ability. There was also, wait a minute. There
Yes, ma'am.
was also a request for a deferred. And then what was submitted was an expired placard. Now, I'm understanding that, and we did look a little bit further to see if we could kind of link up to, some proof that there was a valid placard. I'm not entirely sure. I know that the ticket was issued to you, although I'm
No,
not,
ma'am.
if I could,
It was,
I'm talking.
yes, ma'am.
I'll let you talk, but I'm the judge. I'm talking.
Yes,
We're
ma'am.
I know it feels informal because you're in your car, but we're technically in a court and I'm in the
I
court.
understand.
And when I'm talking, I'm talking. I mean, I don't know what else to say about that.
Understand.
Okay. So the placard that we received is expired. So even if, what I don't do is sit here and judge the case without the officer coming in, and that's called a trial.
Yes, ma'am.
You can move this case over. I can shift your plea because I haven't yet accepted it. In which case we need to not talk about the case, which is one reason why I talk first. Because otherwise you tell me a bunch of stuff, I can't sit on the case, and now we got to get a visiting judge to come talk about a simple case. So, I control the dialogue in here for a very particular reason, and the law drives that reason. Now, if you want to change your plea and have a discussion about the whole case and whether it's properly issued, which I think you have raised a concern in your notes, and also whether this is getting up to date, which is another option that might be available. Those are pretty involved discussions that require that I decide the facts of the case. The facts of the case get decided at trial, or the party discusses it with the prosecutor and they come to some kind of agreement, or you just accept it and move forward. I'm thinking that I want to back up and let you maybe have a discussion with that prosecutor first before we move forward. I think
Yes,
that's
ma'am.
appropriate with the information that is provided to me, but that also the prosecutor can look at and see.
Yes, ma'am.
Outside of that paper, I don't want to have a discussion because it actually does what we call, it prejudices your rights, and I don't want to do that. So I'm here to protect those rights,
I understand.
whether you know I'm doing it or not.
I
So
understand.
so let me schedule this for a pretrial, and that's going to be online. We're doing one now. But I don't know that he's prepared necessarily to look at it because he has a full docket today.
Okay.
So I would do that on March 14th. Can you be available for that?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm just making a note. And the email that we use to set this up for to be heard today, that email that we sent the meeting to for today, can you receive the next setting on that same email?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I'm going to move that over then.
Okay.
Because when someone says to me, guilty but not guilty, I need it to be looked at. And
Yes, ma'am.
we are on the side of not guilty when that
Thank
happens.
you.
Okay?
Thank you.
All right. So we're going to email that to you, and you should receive that sometime today. It'll be a link for March 14th at 9 o'clock. Okay.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. You're good to go.
You too, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Wells and Mr. Mattson, I know y'all were visiting. Where are we on there's several things. I think they were all set for today. A traffic control device disregarding. This is all December 24th. Crossing a physical barrier, failing to yield right of way to an emergency vehicle. Right now, I have a final pretrial for April 5th at 3. Where are we with regard to these cases?
We will be continuing to that April 5th date, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. So we'll see you on April 5th at 3 o'clock. And just expect to be here maybe 30 minutes to an hour. Okay.
Okay, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Thank you. All right, Mr. Mattson, I am going to move your docket forward. Your next person is Devin Hicks. Good morning, Mr. Hicks. How are you?
Good morning, doing very well, thank you.
Great. Let me move you over to that meeting, and just remember, we're coming back at the end. I'm also moving forward with Lonnie. Solomon is done. And so Capricia Porter. Good morning, Ms. Porter. How are you?
Good morning. I'm doing well. How are you?
Thank you. I'm good. I have warrants and I have pleas. This part always stresses people a little, but I need to do it. I need to come to the chat and let you know where I think you are.
I'm sorry.
I'm having a little trouble with your audio. It's echoing back to me. That's a little better. I don't know what you just did, but okay. So let me just walk you through where we are, and then I'll kind of hear from you as well. Okay. This is all dating back to 2016. March 31st is the date of stop. There is a turning left where prohibited charge. The balances are going to sound high because warrant fees have been added. The fines and costs are $412.10. I did receive I believe a no contest plea. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, we'll talk about the fees and so forth in a moment, okay?
Okay.
Also, an invalid license charge. Fines and costs right now are at $456.17. I did receive a no contest plea. Is that your plea to the charge itself at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
There's a no insurance charge. The fines and costs, if you paid them, are $456.30. I did receive a no contest plea. Is that your plea at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And then there was a single charge that got filed called violating the promise to appear. There's always at the bottom of a ticket, there's a court date.
Right.
And when you miss that court date, you're subject to additional charges. It was just filed for the one day.
Okay.
The fines and costs are $430, $420. How are you pleading to this charge?
No contest as well.
Okay. I have a couple of questions before I really accept those pleas. One
Yes.
is, were you insured at the time of the stop by any chance?
No.
Okay. The other is, was your license valid at the time?
No, it wasn't.
Okay. What happened that you didn't come to court at that time? Not since.
Okay. I wasn't living in Temple, Texas, and obviously not licensed to Valley. I was in Temple at the time, on an emergency with my sister who lived in Temple. And I failed to contact the court to, I don't know, reschedule or figure out.
What to do?
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, I just wanted to check in. I asked this next question of everyone, and I don't make assumptions about anyone.
Yes.
So please do not take this next question personally, but it is an attempt to try to resolve things.
Yes.
Have you had any jail time since that time?
No, I have not.
Okay. And then the other question, let's see. Southwest Air. Are you still working with them? I know that was just a week ago.
Yes.
Okay. And you're paid just once a month?
No, twice a month. Sorry. But that's the total, I guess, bi-weekly.
Yeah,
for
I
the
got
month. But yeah.
You gave me a bi-monthly amount. I just was checking in.
Yes.
Okay. So, and then another question. Let's see, you don't have a car payment. Congratulations.
Thank you.
On the dental, is that a one-time amount or is that a payment plan?
It's a payment. It's a payment.
Okay, for like ongoing.
Yes.
Do you have a roommate or anyone else contributing or any other income?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Anyone disabled?
In my home, no.
And you're in Hawaii. So congratulations. Although the rent didn't surprise me. Okay, so actually now I have a friend over there.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So you can work this off through community service in your community.
Okay.
It does have to be a federal nonprofit organization, and you have to prove that 2 weeks from today. You need to have picked a place, and there's a form you're going to submit to get it pre-approved. I used to just let people prove it at the end, but I just had too many people putting in all their hours that couldn't be approved, and they're very upset.
Yes.
So we'll send you the form to do the pre-approval. We'll send you directions, a list that's local, rules, and a form to document your hours. If you don't want to do it this way, I mean, I'm open to doing reductions in payments.
Okay.
And I will call your warrants when we make an agreement like that. However, I don't release the license until we zero out the balance.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Okay.
Your turn.
So yeah. So what the issue is, not the community service. Thank you for that offer. Like not that I would love to pay the tickets. It's the excess fees that, like, I'm okay with paying the tickets, the four, that we just went over. It's, I guess it's the extra court fees and everything that make it equal the $1,700. And so I was wondering if I could get the fees knocked down to make it more affordable for me.
Yeah, so the answer to that question is a little bit. Most of the fees that got added are statutory. There were, like, for example, warrant fees are $50 They've been $50 for almost 20 years.
Okay,
Once they go on, they don't come off. I'm not even legally allowed to reduce them.
gotcha.
The
Okay.
fines, there are fines, and
Mhm.
those have been there all along. I can
Oh.
reduce that a little bit.
Okay,
So I can help you a little bit, but I want to caution you that it's not going to be a big drama.
Right.
And I can approve a payment plan if you want
okay.
to do that. So what can you pay today towards your balance?
Today I can pay about $250.
Okay, is it 250?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and then you're paid twice a month. What's a good day to do a payment, and what payment do you think that you could consistently make?
So payday is Monday, and I could probably pay another $300 on that day.
Monday's the 20th. Are you always paid on the 20th?
Yep, the 5th and the 20th of the month.
Okay. And what did you say you would pay on this 20th?
$300.
Okay. And then do you want to do that every month? That's a lot. Do you want to set it up for that much, or do you want to set it for 100 and pay more if you can?
Let's do that. Let's set it for 100 and pay more if I can. I'm just trying to get it like, obviously it's from 2016, but I'm trying to get it paid off as fast as I
Yes.
can. But
Yes.
yeah,
Okay, so hold tight. I need to start the clerk working a little
Okay.
bit on some reductions that I'm willing to
Okay.
do. And I need to take a case from Mr. Matson and keep him moving.
yes.
So
Okay,
I'll be back with you. So you're going to be on mute, but I'll come back. Okay.
perfect.
Don't
Yes,
go
ma'am.
away. We'll be right
Okay.
back. Okay. You know, so on the VP. Let me talk to Mr. Matson. Mr. Matson, I know that you were talking with Mr. Hicks. So yes, where are we with this matter?
Your Honor, Mr. Hicks will be placed on deferred disposition. And that will be the 120-day period with a driver's safety course by the 60th day. And he has indicated that he can pay the fine in full within 30 days.
Okay, Mr. Hicks, if I follow this agreement between the two of you, this is what it would look like, and we would get your signature today, and by email would be a way we could do it if you can print it and sign it and email it back. What it would say is that from today until June 20th, you're on a deferred disposition. During this time, you'll be required to meet the conditions that will be listed. I'm going to hit the highlights with you right now. Couple of them are easy. Don't get any more tickets, don't get warrants, don't get arrested, don't fail to come to court if you get set for a court date. The other two things that are more specific to your case would be a driving safety course by April 18th, and that will be in writing, and payment by March 21st. Can you meet these conditions, and do you agree?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, if I email this to you as an order, can you print it, sign it, and email it back to me today?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right, then we'll have that to you sometime this morning. Print it, sign it, email it back. If we need to send you another copy, I doubt that we would need to. It would just be your order at that point. They'll email you information for how to pay. Payment information. Do we automatically do that? Okay. Some class and class and payment information. They'll send class and payment information with that, so that you can successfully complete your order. Okay.
All right. Thank you very much.
Do you have any questions?
No, ma'am.
All right, you're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you for that. Okay, Mr. Matson, I will move you forward. Justin Eaton is your next person. Mr. Eaton, can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am.
Great. Okay, I'll move you over to that meeting, and when y'all are done meeting, you'll come back in.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Okay. Ms. Porter Brown, I'm almost ready to take you back up, so I'll just go ahead and wait till we're ready. Till we get the balance. In the meantime, Trey Gray, are you back in? I don't see anyone trying to come in. And when we have a balance on that one, that's great. Almost there. That's the new balance. Okay. The balance, I got it from 1758.77 this quarter to 1303.90. That's a little bit. It's what I could do. There are some fees for a payment plan. I think you'll avoid maybe, it looks like at least one of those fees. They're per ticket, it's $15. It's not significant. I mean, it's not huge. It's money's money. It's all significant, but it's not enormous. It's going to be a little bit more because you have collection fees on your case just due to the passage of time, and those will adapt accordingly. I don't know the actual on that. Is it like $18 in the end? Something like that. Plus the collection fee. Yeah. So it's roughly $18 that gets added. Anything paid off in the first 30 days won't have that fee. It looks to me like you'll definitely get one of these paid off within 30 days. You might get two. So just be aware if it goes up, that's the reason. But it's not an ongoing monthly fee. It's just a single one-time fee. Okay. And I don't have a way to control that fee either. Okay. So what I would like to do is send you a payment arrangement on this new balance. Have you print it, sign it, email it back, and make that first payment today. Can you do that? Okay. It's going to take a few minutes. I don't know that you need to stay on the call. You could hang up, but they'll email it to you this morning. And then I just need it before close of business here today. We close at 5 Central Time. Okay, what questions do you have?
Okay, I have no questions. I understand everything that you said, and I will have it signed within the next hour. I'm on my way to work right now.
Okay, it may be
so
half
yeah.
an hour or so before they send it. So
Okay, perfect.
we're not rushing
Okay.
it. We just want to do it today.
Yes, awesome. Thank you so much, Judge.
Yes, ma'am. If you
Anything?
have any difficulty, call us, and you can do payments online or by phone.
Oh, perfect. Okay, thank you so much again. You have a good rest of your day.
You too, ma'am.
Thank
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye.
Because there's a payment today. There's a kind of a bigger payment like in a few days, and then it funnels into that monthly amount. Does that make sense? Okay, Mr. Mattson. Okay, here we are with Mr. Eaton and Mr. Mattson.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, let's just start. Where are we, Mr. Mattson, on this one?
Your Honor, we'll go ahead and continue to that final pretrial date, but I anticipate this case will be resolved prior to that.
Okay. Okay, so right now that's set for all the way into April 5th at 3. If the case is still pending on that day, we'll expect you here. It sounds like y'all might have something in the works, and usually if there's an agreement, I go along with the agreement, but until then, it'll just be set to be here. Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
You're good to go, Mr. Eaton.
All right. Have a good day.
You too, sir. Mr. Mattson, I'll move you forward. Your next person is Tamika Trainham. Miss Trainham or Trainham, can you unmute?
Yes.
Okay, can you get on screen? Great. I'm going to move you over to that meeting with the prosecutor at this time. At the end, you'll come back into this meeting. Okay, Mr. Ludke, how are you this morning? Oops, I moved the wrong person over. And that was by accident. Okay. Here we go. Miss Vargas, I apologize. Something happened and I moved you over before.
That's what I just came over here to let you know.
Yeah, I got that solved. Ms. Trainham is in the other room.
Thank you, Judge.
I guess when I clicked, screens move around on my screen, and sometimes that happens. Okay, sorry, Miss Vargas. I'll be with you shortly. Mr. Ludke or Ludke, how do you like to say it? Your name. So you'll have to unmute, and then I'll hear you.
Ludke, Judge.
Ludke?
Ludke, yes, ma'am.
Okay. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
I'm well enough.
Okay. I did receive information from you. Let me just kind of walk you through where we are. There's a January 19th, 2023 stop, and there is a stop for running a red light. There is a no contest plea with nothing really checked off, which is okay. We can talk about it. Is that your plea at this time to the charge itself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. There was also a charge for no insurance, and it was the same. There was a no contest plea. Is that your plea to the charge itself?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then, I did take an opportunity to review the financial information that you provided. I do normally, in cases such as this one, I would normally order community service. I don't know if you're disabled. I would have to talk to you about that as well.
I am disabled.
Okay. So just without giving me more information than you're uncomfortable with, I don't want to go there, but could you tell me a little bit about the nature of your disability?
I have 3 ruptured vertebrae in my neck. I'm waiting for surgery to have, and my lower back is inoperable.
I'm just making notes.
And my neurosurgeon, he's the one that said, basically, I'll never work again.
Okay. Do you have that in writing? And if not, can you get that in writing?
I see him today. Matter of fact, I can get it in writing from him, but I do have a letter stating what all I'm, incapable of doing, I guess.
Right. It's what would be the most helpful. I can review anything you give me. What is the most helpful for you is a note from a doctor saying you can't do community service.
Yes, ma'am. I can, like I said, I see him today. Matter of fact, I have an appointment at 12:45 to see him.
Okay. So right now, what I'll do is I'll order community service, but I'm anticipating a note excusing you The order will say that it's due by April 18th. That way, if it takes some time to get a note, you'll have a breathing space to get that done by your due date. But earlier is great too. No later than April 18th. Bring that note to the
Okay.
court or email it to us.
Okay.
You have any
And do I
questions?
stay on? No,
You don't
ma'am.
need to stay.
All right, so I just sign out now? This is
Yes.
the first time I've ever done Zoom.
I
All
understand.
right, thank you very much, Judge.
Thank you. Let's just email. Okay. Mr. Matt, someone that get your person back over. Okay. Ms. Trainum, Mr. Matson, where are we? These
Your Honor, we will be continuing to final pretrial on both charges.
Okay. We're scheduled for April 5th at 3 o'clock. And we'll see you then. Ms. Trainum, we'll see you then, okay? Okay. Mr. Matson, moving you forward with Alexis Vargas. Now, interestingly enough, she's on a phone call. And Ms. Vargas, can you unmute? And normally I can't move phone calls back and forth, but I was able to improperly move it over and then move it right back over. So we'll see what happens, but I'll move it over to that meeting. But I was hoping she is unmuted. Are you there, ma'am?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, there we go. She's moved over. This is a no-show on the pretrial. Oh, I'm sorry. Let me just, might as well figure out if we're going to do it. A minute.
All right, Judge, I told her if you're not able to move her over, that I would tell her to hang up and call back.
Okay. Also, she's indigent.
Look at that.
Maybe they fixed that problem. Okay,
It would
So-
appear,
go ahead.
I was just saying it would appear that they have fixed that problem.
Good. I hope so. Okay, where are we?
We are going to continue to final pretrial, Your Honor.
Okay. All right, Ms. Vargas, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, this is Judge Person, and I'm letting you know final pretrial is March 22nd at 2:00, and we will expect to see you here at that time.
Okay.
Thank you.